who educates persons living with Down syndrome and other disabilities. So before to formally start, I'll just invite at this time the secretary who will give a short speech on this day, and then we would invite our guests to share their experience. So what we can do, you can send your questions in. If you think of anything that you would like to know from them, don't limit them. Don't limit the questions. I'm quite sure we have the answers for all of them. So at this time, I invite Dr. B. Israel, Assemblyman Dr. B. Israel, Secretary of Health, Wellness and Social Protection.
Thank you, Mr. George. Thank you so much. This is one of those opportunities where we have to show that we are truly an inclusive society. It's one of those opportunities where we have to show that we understand that we have people who are abled in different ways, but their differences actually make them, in many instances, more special than we are. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Now, it also means that we need to be very, very clear, and we need to be very, honest with ourselves about how much of what we do is what limits those who we think are different to us. How much of what we do and how much of what we say is actually creating the limiting society. So yes, we have a space here where we have a wonderful ramp. And we also have a space, and I'll admit, where our, what do you call that thing behind it that I refuse to get into? The elevator. The elevator does not work most of the time. And we have to, as policymakers, really, really ask ourselves, what do we do to contribute to limiting the actions and the activities of those who we think are a little different? I want to officially welcome, and the camera could follow me, thing. So I want to officially welcome Kenwyn and Rachel. Kenwyn, welcome to the division. Rachel, welcome to the Division of Health, Wellness, and Social Protection, a space where we thoroughly appreciate who you are. Oh, Miss Bacchus, I didn't even see you sitting there. How are you? It's the way Miss Bacchus look like a young girl sitting there. A space where we truly appreciate you. We truly want to ensure that all of our services are services that are inclusive. As a matter of fact, when we think of the term social protection, one of the things that we are building out in the division is to ensure that the social protection part of what we do is all inclusive, which means going a step further. It means ensuring that all of our policies and all of our actions really do take into consideration the wants and the needs of everybody, whoever those may be. So Rachel, Kenwyn, welcome. I hope you enjoy your visit with us here at the division. And I hope those of us who are looking on, particularly those of us who are in the social support sector, those of us who are the ones who people come to when they need help, we recognize that our job every single day is to make sure that we make the lives of those who come to us as easy as possible. That's the whole point of us having this division, and that we do everything in our power to ensure that that happens every single day. So again, congratulations. Thank you all so much for the visit, and I certainly hope that this is not just the beginning, but this is a continuation of us being as inclusive as possible. Thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you very much, our secretary. Give her a round of applause, please. Right. And so we go straight into it. At this time, ladies first, so I'll invite Rachel and her mom, and they will give their experience. I just want to know Rachel's experience from birth to now, through her eyes, through mommy's eyes, and mommy would ably help her. So mommy, you all can come this way. Yeah, you all can come.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah. Come, Rachel. We want everybody to see you as well.
Yes, stand right where we are.
Right, so just share with us Rachel's life, 32 years, how has that been?
Wonderful. I can't, well, at this point, I can't complain. When I was younger, when I just had her, I was just about 32, and it was a trying time then. And I remember when I first had her, she was born right here in Tobago, and I wasn't happy with the doctors, how he put it over to me, right? I would always speak about it because it hurt me. She called her a Mongol. And it stayed with me for the balance of my life. And when after that, you know, I became very protective of her. And everywhere I go, she goes. Everything, she learned a lot because I never kept her home. I never kept her at home. If I have to go to the restaurant, she goes with me. If I have to go to church, she goes with me. Wherever I go, she goes. And a lot of people here in Tobago would testify that they would be seeing me and her all the time. And through the years, I had a lot of help from my family, my brothers, my sisters, my mother. And her father died, and I now have assistance from my husband, Michael Murray. So we have been up and we have been down, but right through, it was a great experience. And it still is a great experience because she's learning every day. Now that she goes to the 𝐃�𝐍 school. She went through all the schools actually. 𝐒𝐘𝐍, she went to kindergarten, right in Glen Road there. And from that, she went to 𝐒𝐘𝐍 government. She went to, she even went to the school for the deaf. She went across to Happy Haven, and now she's at the 𝐃𝐍 school. And it's a learning experience right through. And I give my story because I like for other people to learn and to know that it may be tough, but it's rewarding, right? Because we have a charge to keep. We have a God to glorify. And we have an ever-dying soul to save, to be fitted for the sky. God gave us these children for a purpose, and we may not see the end of it, but somewhere, somehow, it would be revealed. So right now, she is with the 𝐃𝐍 school. Miss Dotsie Bacchus there, and all the others who helped and assist her along the way. And she's coming out. She's still learning because now that with the COVID, she is she's cooking with me. She's learning. She loves to do the chopping up. You know, every time I start, she would come and stand up. And she would come and stand up, and you know. So I say, you like to chop up, eh? So she does that. She did some baking at the PAM. Program for adolescents. And she's at home with me. She's baking. She's cooking. She cooked pilau for her birthday, which was just last month. Right. And she could bake bread too. So we have the little kitchen garden because of the COVID, right? And we started it, and we have been progressing from there because it's therapy. It's therapy, you know, exercise. When you can't get the exercise otherwise, to go and bend in that garden and to wet the plants and to find the soil, and it's therapy, you know. So we are doing that, and we are praising God for everything.
Excellent. I just want to hear from Rachel now. Don't you all want to hear from Rachel?
Yes.
Rachel, tell me
I like to cook. Get a cook for my birthday.
What else do you like to do, Rachel?
I like to do something gardening.
Very nice. What are some of the things that you have planted in your garden?
I have melanjan, pak choy, peppers, flavor peppers,
Excellent.
and pak choy. I plant tomatoes.
Everything, Rachel. Everything you planted.
Lettuce.
Give her a round of applause again. Let's encourage her. And I don't know, Mommy, if you could help me with this. I just want to know one thing that she would want to see improved in the lives of persons living with Down syndrome.
Well, as we say, inclusiveness. Because, yes, she went through all the systems. We didn't have a problem with the schools, but we still need for people to be more aware. We still need for people to not stigmatize. We still need for people to include persons with Down syndrome in the work area too, you know. And if we could get them to go out and work, that would be nice, because that would be an income, but then it would be experience for them, right? But we need, when that is happening, that we, the normal people, don't take advantage of them.
So thank you very much. It was really a wonderful conversation with you, Rachel. Anything else that you want to say before we go on to Kenwyn?
Yes, I have 2 weeks, but we call it saffron.
Excellent. So she's still, what she's saying is that
this is Rachel's little kitchen garden that we started since in 2020. We always do.
So she said she had saffron, turmeric,
new plants as the
ginger as well.
crops get
so that's
eaten.
basically what she said.
So right now
give her a round of
we
applause
have
again.
some turmeric.
Thank you.
We have
ochros,
okros, and in between the middle there is a little
You
lavender.
want to sing? All right, go right ahead. Shoot.
I will lift up my eyes to the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He said, He has suffered the foot to be moved. The Lord keepeth thee. He has slumbered or sleep. Oh, the Lord keepeth, the Lord has said, and the forevermore.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much, Rachel. Thank you very much.
Yes, so she loves music.
Yes.
She does drumming. We do drumming at school
Yes.
and at church, you know. So this is how when you include them,
Yes, these are the products.
When you train them, when you push them, right? You don't baby them.
Yeah.
Because we want them to be as everybody else, right? They could learn. They might be slower, but
they could learn.
They could learn.
All right, great. Right. So to our viewers on Facebook as well, you are seeing it here live at the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection. This is what inclusivity looks like. Once you include them, they can sing, they can do agriculture, they can dance, they can drum. The sky is the limit. So let us really purpose in our hearts and in our minds now to include persons with disabilities, not just with Down syndrome, but with disabilities, because once they're included and they're guided, they can achieve and be the best that they can be. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Give them a round of applause. I invite Kenwyn and Mommy. So we heard the perspective from Rachel, and now we're going to hear from Kenwyn. And noting to our Facebook viewers and to our staff members, Kenwyn is it correct to say gainfully employed in the construction sector with his father? As we can see the stance here, I think he has more muscles than me right now. So, Mommy, Mommy, we just want to hear about life with Kenwyn. I'm not sure how old Kenwyn is.
Kenwyn is 26 years old.
Kenwyn is 26 years old.
Yes.
All right, so just run us through life with Kenwyn.
So my journey with Kenwyn started 26 years ago. And it was not like Ms. Jamot said, no doctor told me that he had Down syndrome. I had my baby ecstatic because I have 2 girls before. But then no sonogram to tell you if it's a boy or girl, so I had to wait until I reached the counter to get my use. So when I got at the counter, I had my bouncing baby boy. I was ecstatic, on top of the world, bursting with happiness. Went home with him, and he was going into 8 months old, and he just had this chesty sounding stuff that just wouldn't go away. Doctor's medication, nothing, because he looks like me. So, this broad face, and I was fatter then, so, I was all cheeky and looking kind of chinky eyes like him. So I saw nothing wrong with my little chubby baby. So we went home, just this chestiness just wouldn't leave him. So I went back to the hospital with him, he was 8 months old, and I was saying to the doctor, I said, he has this cold, just wouldn't leave him. So he said, well, bring him on. He said, where he was born? I said, right here. And he examined his palms. He said, nobody told you anything? I said, nobody told me anything. I said, what you alluding to? He said, okay, let me examine him. He examined. He said, but your son is different. And I paused. I said, let me know what's going on. And he told me, I think he has Down syndrome, but how much percentage he has, I don't know, because he was doing everything normal. He was at that time crawling. He sat at his normal pace as my other daughters, and he was doing everything basically normal. Just his chestiness is what alerted me to something was wrong. Just always sounding like he have a cold and wheezy, 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 wheezy. So then the doctor told me, I would send you to a pediatrician, and they can run the test, and you know how much and what. So I took him to Dr. Wheeler out at the Triangle building. She sent me for some blood works down at the Sangster Hill Mall at that time. Well, she checked him. He was doing everything what he was supposed to be doing at that age. When I went to the lady at the blood work, she had him. She said, girl, what are you worrying for? Look, the nice fat baby you have. Why you go home and praise God and thank God you have a good, healthy child? I said, no, just for the sake, I just want to know, what I have to face. So I came home. I did all the tests. When they went back to the doctors, they said, well, he's functioning normal. He just have a percentage of Down syndrome that could hamper him mentally from what they've seen. And his thing has since been just basically mental. His arms, So I went back and I started telling my family. The biggest challenge I had was with my then mother-in-law. From the time I told her I have a child with Down syndrome, she'd pull in a shell. And she didn't. So going down the road about, he was small then, so I couldn't send him to her. The 2 girls would go because they were older. So when he was about 2 years old, she called me a day. She said, send them train by me, it's my birthday. I said, well, all today? She said, no. You keep home that one. I said, well, Miss Lady, let me tell you something. I said, I have 3 kids. 3 children, which is your grandchildren. If you're taking 2, who he going to be home with? I said, I'm not doing that to my child. I said, it's either all inclusive or none at all. And I said none that day. And I sent none of them that day. And she was angry with me, and I said, you could be angry. I said, I'm a mother, and these are my kids, your grandkids, and if that is your attitude, I'm standing up for them. And we had a fight. And when she said that I insisted, she started including him, that I would have to come with him. That was no problem with me. And we went down with that until gradually then Miss Bacchus was downstairs where they were living. And she started reaching out to me, and then I was getting, because I didn't have no knowledge. Back then it wasn't even the internet, it was encyclopedias. I went and got a stack and I started reading. I was just looking for knowledge to educate me on what I have to deal with my son. And it has been an uphill. So then I reached out to Miss Bacchus, and she was a great source of comfort and knowledge. And we have been good ever since.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. So I would like to know the same thing from him.
Mm-hmm.
From him. Kenwyn, what do you like to do?
I like running.
You like running?
Yes.
All right. I could see the fitness. What else you like to do, Kenwyn?
I like walk.
Walking.
I like walk that day, me and you walking together.
Mommy?
He likes to work with the daddy.
Or he likes to work with his daddy.
Yeah.
What specifically you like? What about the job you like?
I like construction site.
Yeah, the construction.
You like the construction site?
Yes.
So I'm asking the question so that you see that many persons think that they don't understand. They understand, they just may not be able to explain it clearly. But Mommy, after all these years, Mommy could translate for us. But just to show, this is what inclusivity means as well. Don't speak to them like if they are stupid or don't understand anything. Speak to them normal. Slow down your speech and speak to them normal. And this is what you can have. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Kenwyn, one last question. What would you like persons to do for persons like you with disabilities? What you would like to see change? And Mommy could help you.
Yes.
Mommy saying you want to help.
What he does always say, he don't like people making fun of him. He gets angry. Because he has a little impediment in his speech. Right. So sometimes you doesn't understand him. And once you start laughing at him or anything like that, he gets really angry. So that's one of his things. So even when he's out there with his dad, sometimes I will go on the sites with them and let the guys know, look, he's not a puppet. Yeah. He's a human being like you. You just have to be patient with him. And I just tell the dad, I said, look, if you is his father, you can't be coming to me and complain all the time. I can't be coming on construction site and tell him, stop making a mock of him. I say, you just have to speak to him.
And for those in-house and even on social media, if you take a look at his screen, you will actually see Kenwyn at his job site, doing pretty much what I know that I struggle to do. Right?
Yeah.
Right, so Mommy, continue.
Yes. Yeah, so I would let them know that, you just have to be patient with him. What would take you a few minutes to learn, it would take him a little time. And when he speaks, if you just listen carefully and ask him to repeat if I don't understand, you'll get what he's coming with. Don't just laugh at him. And so that's why his sisters used to be really protective. Even when we was to send him out with his dad. When I, at Happy Haven, told me he was 18 and he had to leave school, I had 2 sleepless nights, wondering what I was going to do with my son. That was like July, August, and he was turning 18 in November. They told me, Ken have to leave school, and I couldn't sleep for 2 nights because my job entailed I was out there all day. One sister in school, one in university. No one else at home because his dad and I, at that point, we were separated. And after 2 nights, I said, you know what, girl? You had to bite the bullet. I called the father. I said, we wasn't even speaking. I said, Mr. Man, I need to speak to you. He hung up on me. I called him back. I said, Mr. Man, I said, I need to speak to you. He said, what happening? In all aggression. I said, Ken turning 18. I said, during the time when I had to be at work, you had to step up. Me and no babysitter. I said, listen to me. I said, you as a father, it's time you become the father that you're supposed to be. and yeah, it's the time to step up. And we had some pretty challenging times.
Right.
Still do. Because I'm pretty aggressive when my kids are concerned. Yeah, so he stepped up. It started out as a daycare with him because he would go there and sit down and sleep all the time. Yeah. And he would complain and say, if you as the father can't handle him, just sit down and leave him to sleep if that's the best you could do. And I said, the boy's strong. I said, get him assisting you. And so he started.
Right.
Yeah, and now here he is. Look at home. I was building a little chicken coop. And we was trying to get this thing done. And I said, here what? I tell Ken, I said, we had to mix some concrete. I got to get some guys. He said, no, mommy, I could do that. And believe you me, when he putting out the stuff, he gonna forget how much he put down, so somebody have to be there to keep score. Right. If he put down like 10, he would forget if he put down 10 to get the correct measurement with the cement. And you just count, and he doing everything else. Excellent. So when I have my stuff home to do, I just had to get a man coming to assist me, and my business fixed.
All right. So everyone, let us commend Kenwyn and his mommy. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're most welcome.
All right, and just lastly, I'll invite, thank you very much. I'll invite Ms. Bacchus. Ms. Bacchus is a special educator, and she works at the Technical Vocational Center for Persons with Disabilities. And she just would share from her experience as someone working with them, and pretty much the purpose of today, just giving us a little more information on that, and then we'll wrap up. Ms. Bacchus.
Thank you very much. Let me thank the department and staff, for organizing this great program. Today is Down Syndrome Day, and I'm sure, many of you would be asking the question, how did this word come about? Well, Dr. John Down, he is the person who discovered that Down syndrome was a problem with the chromosomes. Normally, as human beings, we have 46 chromosomes. With the Downs, they have an extra chromosome. And that extra, this is what causes the problem. This is what brings out the disabilities. Down syndrome is not hereditary. It's not something that you catch. As I said, it is a chromosome problem. And having, as parents, they accept the whole idea that, listen, this is my child. As, teachers, society on the whole, we have to encourage them. We have to support them. We have to stand in the gap for them, because it's not very easy, because you would have heard the experience. Now, my experience, working with our students and persons with Down syndrome, when I first started to work with them, it was a bit challenging because, knowledge is power. So when you don't know, it was difficult for me because, number one, there were times when they were very, very stubborn and you couldn't get anything at all from them. And then I learned that, listen, these are loving, affectionate. And I would experience, like during the day, I may have some problems. And then before dismissal, they would come to you, Miss, sorry, Miss, how are you going? There was no hatred. And I think that this is why experts have said that extra chromosome, they call it the love chromosome. Because these children are very affectionate, very caring. I would really like to see us. I know that the whole idea that you have organized this program, that you are a voice for our Down syndrome population and even persons with disabilities. But I would like to see more inclusion. I would like to see people coming out, and treating them as normal because they have that potential. They have that potential. It's just that they are a little slower than the normal. And it is just a matter of organizing that environment, creating that environment so that they can develop their potential. We also have, even how society looks at them or how society thinks about them. And you would have some idea when the parents, they spoke about their experience. As I said, you treat them as norm. Treat them as norm. Because when you go out with them and people look at them, they feel a how. They talk about it, they feel uncomfortable. So therefore, this is one of the things, in treating them normal. You don't stare at them. I remember one student was saying, it's bad manners to look at people. we were going to Trinidad, Special Olympics, and people were just staring there. And out of the blues, it's bad manners to be staring at people. So I think that this was a message. This was a message. What I would really like to see is an environment, a vocational center that will be able to identify all the needs, if not all, almost all the needs of our Down syndrome population, and even, persons with disabilities. Because as I said, they have the potential. They have their strengths. And what we have to do is to recognize that strength and to work with it. I just want to give you an example of, I worked at Lady 𝐒𝐘𝐍, for some years. And at the Woodwork Center, you had different levels. And there were some students that they classed them as low function. So they would go into the woodwork and, center, and they would clean up when they were finished and pack away and so on. But there was an instance when there was need for sandpapering. There was a machine there, so the able-bodied persons, they operated the machine. But at the end of the job, it wasn't completed. And the instructor said, well, I need some finishing touches. So they decided to use those same low function to do the manual sandpapering. And boy, that was an experience. It was just great to the extent where they became part of the team. You couldn't do without the so-called low function because they added the finishing touches for whatever that was done. So again, as I said, they have their potential. It's just a matter of getting it out, getting their strengths. Because if somebody didn't, come up with the idea, well, look, we can use them, they would have continued to use them, have them there as low function. So that in our society, in our community, this is what we have to do. Recognize our students, our population, recognize their strengths, and we work on it.
Yes.
We work on it. They can. You just have to be a little patient, exercise some patience with them, go through, your routine, go through your schedule with them, step by step. And I tell you, after a while, you don't have to bother because they would have learned that routine. So they come and they just do what they have to do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Ms. Dotsie Bacchus. Thank you very much, Ms. Bacchus. Listen, you all heard exactly how calm this lady is. This is the kind of temperament that you definitely need when dealing with persons living with disabilities. You need to be calm. You need to just, calm it down and treat with them. Have some, patience as well. But yes, I think a lot of the examples today would have shown that all we really need to do is to be a bit more supportive and really conditioning our minds to include them. We limit them by what we think about them, as Ms. Dotsie said, which I found funny, but still it's true. Staring at persons is bad manners. So even as you see persons with disabilities, don't just stare them down. If you want to ask a question and find out. Don't just stare them down. It's bad manners according to them. All right? So at this time, before we lock things off, we just have some tokens that we would like to share with our guests. And I will ask Mr. Melville, so smartly dressed, to just come and assist me in giving out these tokens to our guests, please. Yeah, you can't dress up nice and not come and, And you could give them right where they are. Yeah. So starting. All right. So starting with the ladies first. So that's the one in the brown bag is for Rachel.
Persons with special as you are. So it was a pleasure having you here with us, sharing your experiences with us, and we look forward to you coming to us again in the very near future to tell us where have you advanced and where have you gone from here. So thanks very much, and may God's blessings be with you continuously.
All right, the other one for Mommy.
Hard work that you have been doing with Rachel over the years is what? So we want to give you this small token of appreciation, thanking you on behalf of the division for the work that you have been doing with Rachel over the years. God's blessings and His peace be with you.
Thank you very much. So on to Kenwyn.
Kenwyn, come on, anything this way. I like Kenwyn. You see, he's a sharp fella. He reminds me of myself. Yeah? Kenwyn? Boy, God's blessings and His peace and His grace be with you. Continue working along with Daddy. Continue making Mommy proud because she's really, when I listen to Mommy spoke about you here today, she's so proud of you. And I know that if I talk to Daddy, it's the same thing. All right? So continue the good works. Continue looking up, lifting your head high. Yeah? Representing. Yeah? And watch me. Keep it up, eh? Sharp like that, man. That's what we're talking about.
All right, on to Mommy.
Mommy, the experiences that you have shared with us today would have opened the eyes of so many of us, including myself, when it comes to inclusiveness. All right? A story that I wish that the entire world could hear what you said to us here today. All right? I wish that you will continue the good works, continue supporting my boy, continue all the way, and God's blessing and His peace be with you. All right?
All right. Last but not least, Ms. Bacchus. Oh. Ms. Bacchus.
Ms. Bacchus. For all that hard work, Ms. Bacchus, that you have been doing, I know the task is not an easy one, but with people like yourself involved, you make the hardest of tasks easy. And I wish that you will continue and God's speed be with you all the way. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. And really and truly, really wished we could have heard a bit more, but take this experience for what it is. Inclusion means, think about it. That is the theme for this year, and let it don't stop here now. This is something that doesn't just end today, nor the end of the week, nor even at the end of the year. It's something that is continual. Let us commit now. Here in this division, we commit to including as much as we can, and even to our individuals viewing on Facebook and wherever else you're viewing us in this world. Think about it and commit yourself to include persons with disabilities. World Down Syndrome Day is one day. We have autism coming up and several other disabilities. So commit now to include persons with disabilities. Thank you very much to everyone, to all our guests, to Kenwyn, to Rachel, to Mommy, to Daddy, to everybody else, Miss Bacchus, everybody else, persons at Technical Vocational Center, everyone who are advocates for persons with disabilities. We thank you for the work you have been doing, and we really commit to support you even further. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care.